Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I'm behind with everything for obvious reasons, and today's a watering day. I'm hoping to water, well, most things. I've already done the cooler, shadier ones, and because there's been some additions in there, I count the Paphiopedilums in that set. I've actually colour coded those in my notes now so that I know to do a certain number of plants. So that's that. My feed. I noticed Danny's doing a little dance on the table because her sponsor thing, I think it is, Repot Me, that she does videos specifically for, has sent some goodies, and in amongst the goodies is some MSU fertilizer, which she hasn't been able to get and has run out some time ago. Now, under normal circumstances, that shouldn't have come through in the post, but it has. She's over the moon, and she still thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. I tend to sort of agree, but I just wanted to let you know what I'm doing with my feed. As I'm now forcing spring onto these plants, the daylight's doing its own thing. That's helping out, so that's doing the much longer days. The change of the clocks last Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was, makes no difference to the plants. The only difference that makes is to me. It's just a number on a dial. You know, nature doesn't change anything, does it? So the daylight hours are increasing at a dramatic rate now. That is a trigger to the plants, the length of the day. Combined with that, they would like a temperature rise. Now, I'm doing that artificially, obviously, with my thermostat. And what I'm doing is once it's properly light, I change it from 15, the night setting, to 19. And then, when it's been like that for a while, I bump it up to 20 for the rest of the day until the time that I want to shut it down. And the length of time it's changed from 15 to 19 to when I turn it back down to 15 is getting longer and longer. Well, if that doesn't trigger spring, I don't know what will. But to go with that, I need to start increasing the feed. The plants are going to respond by starting to grow, so they would like a little bit of help. So what am I doing then? The MSU fertilizer that I use is perfectly okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but it has a downside. It's slightly low on nitrogen for an actively growing plant, one that's vigorously growing. It's short on nitrogen. Everything else in it is fine. The K-Lite has got loads of nitrogen and the P and K is virtually zero, negligible, so it's a waste of time. If you mix the two together, you effectively don't really change the P and the K much. You reduce it down a bit because you're adding in a percentage of feed with nothing in it as far as P and K is concerned. So you would reduce those two down a bit and you would boost the nitrogen. It does like an average. If you mix something up with a TDS of 100 of MSU and then add in TDS of another 100 K-Lite, what you've done is you've split the difference between the K-Lite's nitrogen and the MSU's nitrogen, which in effect is a kick, it's a boost. So that's what I'm using to give my plants a nitrogen boost. Going on the principle that K-Lite seems okay for some people, and some people swear by it, some orchids are obviously okay without the P and the K. I'm not happy about that, but I am happy about reducing the amount of the P and the K in the MSU by adding the K-Lite in and averaging the two. Yeah? So if you think about it, like if the MSU, the P value I think is 5, and in K-Lite I think it's 0. Well, by mixing the two together in equal parts, it's about 2.5-ish. This is not science. I can't analyse the water with the nutrients in. But it's a good fair guess, and I'm happy with that as a good fair guess. So as we're going into the growing season now, I will alternate between MSU and an MSU K-Lite mix. In my view, there's no point in me using CalMag because the calcium and the magnesium value in my feed is perfectly adequate. It doesn't need any more. A a little boost of calcium now and again won't do any harm. But the problem is, until we get all these plants really going, they're not going to dry out quick enough to be watering frequently enough to put in, you know, a watering of just calcium. It will be a waste of a feed. That's the way I look at it anyway. So that's what I'm up to, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to plod away. Wasted some time this morning. Found a chess game on the laptop. I've been playing chess. I've been winning sometimes. You're playing the computer on the easy setting at the end of the day, so there's you know, AI and all that sort of stuff, but it's a bit of entertainment. I got a bit bogged down in that, and so I'm starting a bit late, but it isn't really late, because although the clock says it isn't really. It's an hour ago in, you know, the physiology of the plants. So anyway, that's what I'm up to today. And we've got wet and windy weather, sounds like, for the rest of this week. I was hoping to... Hannah was down at the weekend. I'm not sure that was obvious to people. And we didn't do any... Well, we did do stuff in the garden. We give it a final tidy up. Got my table round from the front to the back and put that on the decking in front of the bench, as though that's where it's meant to be, for sitting on and putting your coffee on. It looks fine there. We had a final sweep up of the leaves and everything. Just a general tidy up, and just made sure the house was straight, basically. So that was that. We had some nice food and everything, so nice weekend. And yeah, the lady's been round and taken all the pictures and everything, and she was impressed with the garden. Not only did she stick her gadget to take the 360, you know, thing that she does, she took a lot of stills. Well, she didn't do that last time. Even though she condemned the garden last time, she took quite a lot of stills. I think she wanted to make it known that I've obviously put the effort in. And the fact that I hadn't finished and done the bottom bit yet didn't matter at all, because of what I had done, so that worked well. So as far as outside is concerned now, I need to crack on with repotting the bonsai. I can't do that when it's raining, but I will get on with some as soon as I can, and that gets that channel moving, because that's just static at the moment. There's just nothing happening. I expect everybody's forgotten I even exist over there, but so I'll get something going over there reasonably soon. And as far as in here is concerned, we've got two choices really. I've still got quite a lot of repotting to do. Well, either you get repotting videos, or I don't film them and you don't get them. Those are the two choices. There will be some other things to film, but not that much at the moment. I mean, like if I came out here today, right, what's new? Well, there's one bloom that you haven't seen, you know, that's just opened, and it's a spike with a single bloom on. So it's not much to look at. The sepals have curled back on this one. I don't know whether they're going to pull forward. Gorgeous colour, but you know, along with lots of other things, a lousy spike. Now that one's already been repotted, so that's good. That'll get a good soak in a minute, because obviously that's in new bark, and my normal amount of water that I would pour through wouldn't get that wet enough to last till the next time I'm going to water. So the ones that are in new media will get a good soaking. The ones that had quite a bit of moss added in don't need a good soaking. They just need to be kept moist. That's different. You have to watch what's in the pot before I start chucking water at them. So that's what I'm up to today. And then hopefully with everything, or nearly everything, watered today, there'll be very little to do tomorrow. I've got to start downloading the stuff to get my talk going. We're heading towards the end of March, and this talk is the second Saturday in April, and it's going to come up, it's going to creep up behind me and leave me with no time. So, and I don't want to have to really mad panic rush it. I don't mind having to hurry a bit. I work quite well in that pressure, but who knows, I might not this time round. So anyway, that's what I'm up to, and thanks for all your messages, appreciate it. And I got my feed mixed up, cleaned my bowls out, sterilised them, and I just need to plod away at this. There's no hurry to get this finished. I shall plod away at it. I shall have a break every now and again, and because at the moment when I'm working I don't want the humidifier on because it goes all over my jeans and they get really wet, so I turn it off. So I do some plants and then I have a break. You know, I have one of my nutty bars or coffee or something, put the humidifier back on to bring it back up, and then turn it off again when I come back in, and I just work like that until I finish. So, and there's a lot less plants now, you know, if you think about it. There's a fair few went off to Carol. There have been quite a few losses this winter, and the new ones that I've got in don't anywhere near get me back up to where I was before. I was around 180, I'm around 130 now, maybe 135. There's quite a lot less mounts than there used to be. They're the ones that take up the time because of the frequency. Yeah, so less of those, more pots means less frequent watering all round. But the mounts are getting to the stage now where their frequency has to be increased. They need to get water a bit more often now. I've still got some that are refusing to do anything. They're effectively still resting, or they're dead. Difficult to tell. There's no sort of shriveled up. I mean, this is the one that's worrying me because the next thing this should do is bloom, and there's no sign of any nubbins anywhere. The canes are still firm, but there's no sign of life on that plant anywhere. There's nothing happening at all. And I can't remember what sort of time that bloomed last year. But, anyway, so there are a couple like that, and there are some that are already starting to come back into growth. Some are just sitting there looking at me. The things like the Latoria type dendrobiums and the black hair type, they're not going to come into growth just yet because they haven't got quite enough warmth. They're still a bit lower than the temperature they would prefer. So until they get to that at night as well as daytime, they're probably going to sit there doing nothing. I don't know. I have to wait and see. But, anyway, I'll do my bit with the temperature changes and see what effect it has. I'm recording what I do because obviously this is new this year. And if it doesn't work, it will need adjusting next year, won't it? You know, I've got, you know, this is as far as I know where I'm going to be, and I have to get this to work. And just leaving it the same is not going to work, so changes have to be done, and it's trial and error to a degree. You know, we'll see how it goes. The results will be in the amount of growth I get over the growing season, and the amount of blooms we get, you know, on plants that have matured bulbs and things like that. So we'll see how it goes, and yeah, I must get on. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.